Law enforcement across the country, including here in the Chicago area, are working to combat a dangerous trend of criminals using small devices that turn a handgun into a fully automatic weapon.
And WJN's Courtney Spinelli's been digging into the data that shows the spike in switch recoveries from city and county streets and shares the uphill battle officials are facing to fight it.
That right there is what happens when a person shoots a semi-automatic pistol. Now, let's see the difference when a small device, only the size of a coin, is added to a gun with an extended magazine. If you're wondering how many rounds were fired, it was about 30 in just 2 seconds.
Really, in the last couple of years is where there's been an explosion. And the use of these machine gun conversion devices in weapons used during crimes.
These devices turning semi-automatic weapons into fully automatic go by a handful of names, one of the most common, known as a Glock switch.
It is so small, it's very hard to detect.
These switches are illegal under federal law, but it's not stopping criminals from finding ways to get their hands on them.
It creates an exponential threat to public safety.
Data obtained by WGN shows the number of conversion devices taken off the streets has spiked from 2021 to 2022 in Chicago and across Cook County. In all of 2021, Chicago Police Department officers recovered 395 firearm switch attachments, compared to more than 460 from the start of 2022 through the beginning of December.
The percentage of these that we're getting off the streets is just going like this. It's going up every year like 100%. And I don't see any end in sight.
So the ATF, who should be looking for niggas with Glockies with the switchies, you feel me? There's a switch epidemic going on. Niggas is 3D printing switches.
But investigators wanted to know not just who was selling these devices, but who was making them. That led them to Garland. According to court records at this apartment complex, an undercover ATF agent purchased nearly 36 handgun switches from a man named Xavier Watson. Watson then allegedly showed the undercover agent the 3D printers he used to make them, telling the agent between the two 3D printers, he could produce 400 machine gun conversion devices in a day.
You know what I mean? Niggas is rapping. Buka put the switch on for me.
Right through the hood, I ain't parking. Niggas running, hop out with the clip. 100, nigga, extra hit. I'm jumping the 8 on the members on me. Shoot shit with the switch. They were for their dish.
Full Nick with a drum, a Glock with a switch.
Like a sister, they know how we play. In Motown, we out 3 to 4 switch. He got
switch fast, you get up, you better blast. Win 120 in it, SRT up and down, I'm finna crash. If I slide on your block, wait up that switch and make them curve. Gotta stay up.
That's a switch, where we really blick shit. Shorty got a 40 with a switch, this bitch a blick.
I put that switch on that Glock, nigga. Yeah, I put that switch on that bitch, nigga, let it hit. I put that switch on that Glock, nigga, switchy. Caught his ass lacking, man, that 40 rocked his ass to sleep.
You think the ops don't ask no questions, boy, just blick. She feel comfortable on my block cause we got switches.
Feel watch I stand over the beat. Hit his ass with that switch. Rearrange his face for getting in my mix. This my life, this my life.
Not nearly as precise. They're just spraying bullets at, at a target, and it's extremely dangerous.
How common did it used to be to encounter machine guns for ATF agents a few years ago versus today?
It was pretty rare that you would find a legitimate machine gun. We're seeing them recovered all the time. Just one of the most scary things that we've dealt with since I've been an ATF agent. They're everywhere on the street right now.
I'm Mike, and I sell switches.
How did you get into the world of selling switches?
It was some old footage a while back. We was experiment with a gun, and some people had recorded the videos, and it started a trend.
How many switches do you estimate you've sold over the years?
Oh, a few thousand.
A few thousand?
Yeah. The switches is on the market like PS5s, and you can spend the same amount and get you a switch and will not have to worry about nothing. It's almost every other day. You got people shooting at police with switches. They're very high demand, so it's like, if you don't have one, we butt naked.
Mike told us that he recently decided to quit selling switches after someone close to him was shot with one.
He was actually one of my runners, and he got killed by one. It was my God awakening signs of where if you keep doing this, then the same thing can happen to you.
HPD officers knocked on Dion Ledette's door early the morning of September 20th. His girlfriend came to the door.
Ma'am. Where's Dion?
Officers repeatedly asked him to come out.
Dion, it's Houston Police. Let's do this easy.
Instead, police say Ledette opened fire, sending officers scrambling for cover.
It was a gun battle, inside and outside.
Hey, we need to get Bill out. We need to get Bill out of there.
Officer Bill Jeffrey was struck by the hail of gunfire, fell to the ground at the door. Sergeant Michael Vance hit too. He is seen crawling to cover as the firefight went on around him.
This is what we're up against, and we need to do something about it.
Investigators say Ledette was able to fire off more than 30 rounds in under 2.6 seconds. You can hear that rapid fire in the body cam footage. This tiny, illegal switch that police say was on Ledette's gun turned his semi-automatic handgun into a machine gun.
On you.
They're inexpensive devices that can change handguns into illegal machine guns.
You may have heard of them, called Glock switches or conversion switches. Our CBS 11 team has spent the last year or so telling you about the fast-growing use of these illegal switches in North Texas. Well, tonight, investigative reporter Brian New is showing you at an undercover operation to find those who are making them.
621, can you run a gun for me?
10-4.
So what is this thing right here?
North Texas police officers have reported finding more of them.
They're just
both on the streets and advertised on social media.
You name the social media platform and they're advertising these things for sale.
But the bigger fear federal officials say is that these small, illegal devices that turn handguns into mini machine guns are being made right here in North Texas.
We've been told that you can make one of these in less than 20 minutes. A little switch that you put on the back of your handgun that's going to make it a full auto machine gun.
Last spring, we sat down with the head of the ATF of the Dallas Field Division. He told us that the feds had recently cracked down on overseas websites selling Glock switches. So we asked him if he felt the problem was under control. He then took us back to their evidence room to show us this 3D printer that had been used to make conversion switches. The fear, he told us, was there were more of these out there. We now know what he couldn't tell us at the time was that the ATF had launched an undercover investigation that would eventually prove his fear was founded.
According to court records, last February, a Fort Worth police officer reached out to the ATF after a surge in gang shootings, where officers found Glock switches on handguns. The ATF then launched an undercover operation, leading them from gang members in Fort Worth to a supplier of switches in Arlington. Ayub Wali was arrested and pleaded guilty last month to federal charges of possessing and selling Glock switches. Prosecutors used text messages and videos on Wali's phone as evidence.